What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be doing a trade breakdown, just basically going over why we got into a trade, in trade management, and just a good explanation of we were thinking to go over the trade, so you kind of get a better idea of what we're looking at, and kind of help you structure how you want to get into trades. This is the trade we took about 2 weeks ago, so a fairly long time ago now. The 21st of June, it's now the 20th of July, so over almost over a month ago. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to jump in and show you why we took this trade. So I'm just going to get rid of all that and hit that replay, bring it back to here. Rightio, so this is what the market was looking like when I first started my analysis of this trade. Now, initially, you're probably thinking, alright, if we want to go supply and demand, this is the zone we want to target. It is a zone, but it's not a strong enough zone to take a buy on for a couple of reasons. One, we have structure here as well, so there's a good chance that market gets to this zone and rebounds off and takes up. But two, also there isn't any imbalance down here, and that's pretty much basically what makes the whole strategy. Is we need that imbalance down here in order to say, yeah, the market's probably going to come back and fill this imbalance and then take off again. So the zone that I look for was this zone. Now it's not a massive imbalance; it's pretty small. It's that imbalance zone right there. Um, as we get down to the lower time frames, you'll see that that imbalance is actually a lot bigger than what it looks like on the 1 hour. So this is the zone I was targeting. I'm just going to get rid of that. This is the zone I was targeting. And basically I marked this up on a Sunday and it took off on like a Tuesday or something. Yeah, Tuesday. So I just had to wait really. I did my markup. I set an alarm for this area so that it would trigger on my phone. I could quickly run to the charts and make my lower time frame analysis and then wait for a confirmation and get in. So I'll just jump down to the 15-minute in a second. I'll just let the market go down to our area, which is right now. Jump down to the 15-minute. Now we can start fixing up our areas a bit. So the imbalance is actually pretty big. It's here to here. And if we just want to move this a little bit, we can kind of get a better demand zone, supply demand zone. Right. Okay. So this is the area that we are working with. Ideally, we want to get within like this box here, so we get that imbalance in that supply demand zone, which is pretty much exactly what happened. So we just got to let the market play out a little bit further. Big down candle, strong push up, and a strong push up through that area. So I actually got in here, and to be honest, it probably was a bit of an early entry. It wasn't necessarily a FOMO entry. I didn't have the fear of missing out, but I think my analysis was a little bit off on this one. Even though the trade still worked out, you still got to look at these little mistakes that you make and correct them. Otherwise, they could potentially turn into something far devastating later on in your trading career. But I did end up getting in this area. The idea was that while this is a powerful candle here, these two candles are still very, very strong, and it bust out of this zone. So once it broke that zone and it looked like it was probably going to head to the upside, I was pretty keen on getting in, so I did get in. And I have my take profit up to these, like a fair few tests here, just below, I think. So basically, with my take profit, I'm targeting below that area because it's, as we have gone through in previous back to the basics, support and resistance and supply and demand, they're not ceilings and roofs, they're areas. So to target the very top, you lower your chances of getting hit for a take profit because it's not always going to get to that area and reverse. For an example, really, we can use this. If you were trying to get a sell order from here and you were aiming at this low, you'd have missed out. I mean, you would have got it eventually, but the psychology of holding through this big push back up, you're probably going to close your position. 99% of traders will do that. So we keep it low, not too much lower, but a little bit lower. Now basically just going to run through what happened in the trade. Had a good push up. There's a bit more confluence, a bit more confirmation, and then it had a little pull back down, and then slowly it just started rising, which is good. Now, it is a fairly weak push up. So for me, this trade was looking a bit on the rocks. It wasn't looking great just because of how weak these candles are. You want these really strong, big pushes, especially when exiting a supply and demand zone. But is in profit. I wasn't going to close it. I was just going to see how it runs. It had gave me no indication that it was going to completely reverse right now. And the area that it's at, pretty much there's nothing there. I mean, there's no area to say, yeah, it's probably going to reverse here. So we kept it going. And it had a little pullback down, which was equally as weak. So at this point, I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably going to consolidate for a little bit. When it has a weak push up and then a weak push down, it's basically in long term, on a lower time frame, it's a doji candle for a higher time frame. So it just shows that it doesn't know whether it wants to be up or down. They're both weak. The market's really slow. This trade took ages to finish. And then eventually it got some strength, which was beautiful for us, and it took out this level right here. So at this point I'm thinking, sweet, got to move our stop loss. Let's put our stop loss below this wick. Stop loss. Alright, let's put our stop loss below this wick. Now we've secured a little bit of profits, and it's also a completely risk-free trade. So I'm free to go do whatever I want now, and I won't have to stress about it. So basically the market just played out. It had a little pullback down, tiny little consolidation, and a good move up. And at that point, I'm moving my stop loss again to this area, and I'm just going to basically keep doing that until the point of diminishing returns. And what I mean by that is, if market gets to this area and, I move my stop loss, I'm not going to be able to get it anyway. I move my stop loss here. It's kind of diminishing returns. Am I going to let it push up with the stop loss here and risk getting stopped out for less when it could just be a slight pullback and then go back up? It's not worth it. So I don't think I moved my stop loss any further than this at this point because it was moving quite well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then I had this big push up. So it didn't actually move as well as I remember. Yeah, big consolidation. And then TP. If you wanted to be a bit safer with your profits, you could have moved it here. I don't think I did. I just left it. Because of this consolidation, you kind of don't really know if it's just going to have a big wick down to here and then shoot back up, or if it's going to just continually ride in this area. So I did leave my stop loss down here. And that's the trade. It took ages. I think the whole trade overall took me like 22 hours. And that's a long trade, especially for a 1 hour time frame markup. That's a long time. But it was a good trade. We pretty much didn't run in drawdown at all. So as far as time that it took to finish compared to risk, it was a good trade. Yeah, it could have been quicker. It is what it is. You've got to be patient. But the beauty was we didn't have to stress about being in drawdown. So yeah, that's pretty much the video, guys. I hope you have learned a little bit. It was a short one. There wasn't as much advanced analysis in this trade as I'd like, but there is still some good in-trade management there for you guys about where you should put your stop losses on the move and all stuff like that. So thanks, guys. Subscribe, like, check out our other socials. Facebook, Instagram's a big one. A lot of education on Instagram for you guys. And yeah, thank you very much.